Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope everybody is having an amazing Tuesday night. If anybody would have ever told me 15, 20 years ago, this is what I would be doing my time, I would not have believed them. But you have to believe because it's super important. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is getting started.
Right.
That's a heavy lift, y'all. Between my shoulda, wouldas, and my couldas, it took me till I was 40 years old to get started. And now my biggest regret is not starting sooner because had I started sooner, I would be further along in my journey.
Right.
See, there's this law, right, called the law of diminishing return. And what that means, good evening, Gertrude, is that the longer you do something, the better you get at it. And it's no way around the time clock.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who don't know who I am, of course, my name is Danielle Patterson Winningham, former JP Morgan Chase Vice President, Master Life and Master Business Coach. And I'm here with the startup queen herself tonight, Miss Narissa Malloy. And Narissa, tell them about not just the importance of starting,
Mm-hmm.
but the importance of starting right. I just want you to talk about that for a minute.
Hey, wow, coach. Hey, everybody. I'm Narissa Malloy, and I am a business success coach. And it's true what coach said, starting right. Anyone can get started, but making sure that you get started the right way with the right foundational principles is key, not only to your success, but your longevity and for you to build and scale your business. So a lot of people, they get started. They feel like, you know what, I want to start a business. They see someone doing something on Instagram and say, you know what, I want to make t-shirts, or you know what, that's cute, I want to do a boutique. But if you haven't gotten the clarity on what it is you're truly gifted to do, your passions, and making sure you're aligned, and then making sure that you have the right foundational principles, like your business address, your business account.
Wait a minute. You taking them too fast,
I'm
Narissa.
going too fast.
Hold on, wait a minute. First you said clarity.
Clarity.
No. First you said follow the leader.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop right there real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of us do things because we see other people do things and not really understanding the root of why they do what they do.
Right.
I want to encourage you tonight because our number one bullet was getting started building your business is the journey to your freedom.
Correct.
That's personal. God is not going to let you use somebody else's plan to get to your freedom. You have your own plan that was delegated to you
Right.
even before you were in your mother's womb. And so Narissa is there to help you understand that the only plan you need to follow is the plan that God gave you, not the plan you see somebody else operating.
Absolutely.
And that's why so many businesses fail, is because we see somebody doing something and it may look easy to them. It may seem easy to them. It may be their calling. It may not be. But the right place to start is not by following the wrong cat. They say if you're going to copy somebody, copy the right cat.
That's right.
So, Narissa, talk to them about how you'll help them understand what's right for them
Mm-hmm.
to start.
It's a process that I work through with my clients to really dig down deep and find out what their gifts and talents are, their strengths. What are some of the things that people come to you for? What are some of the things that you naturally do, that you operate in your element, that you can do it without even a thought, but that's your gift, that's your talent. And sometimes there's some things that you give away that you could actually charge for, and you can reap from that. So it's really digging down deep to find what those things are and how you can take it and monetize it so that you can create a business that you love based on what you're truly gifted with and what you're aligned with. So I help people get the clarity and walk through that whole process.
Now, let's talk about, you said what they love to do, right?
Mhm.
Because our second point was the lifestyle you desire.
Right.
If you know that God has more for you, I want you to just put me in the chat real quick. I want to make sure I'm talking to the right people, because see, as much as God has done for me, I still know he has more in store for me. So if you know he has more in store for you, say more for me in the chat, because that's reinforcement that you're not being greedy by asking for more. You just know that God has more for you, right? I want to make this connection because Narissa said, doing what you love to do. Because God so loved the world, he's not sending you at a job. He's not sending you to dig ditches. He's not sending you out in the heat unless that's what you like to do.
Right.
She's going to help bridge the gap between what you love to do and having the money you need to live the lifestyle that you want and deserve. You do not have to stay. Somebody type "I can leave" in the chat. You do not have to stay living beneath your means. You do not have to stay where you are. You can leave. But sometimes you need somebody like Narissa to say, here's your roadmap to be able to leave. Here's your blueprint to be able to leave. Here's your strategy. She said clarity, confusion. The enemy loves confusion. So when you get that clarity, you can leave. You can move forward. You don't have to stay at a job. You can leave. You don't have to stay in a 2-bedroom. You can leave. You don't have to stay in a Honda nothing or whatever. You can leave. And you can leave whenever you get a blueprint. And the key to the lifestyle you desire is on the other side of scheduling a call with Narissa, so she can help you understand how your gifts and talents can lead you to where you want to be. bit.ly/break21. Now I'm going to shut up in a minute for a minute, Narissa, and I want you to talk to them about legacy.
Wow. Legacy is it's amazing. The Bible says that we must leave for our futures. We must leave for our generations. We have to provide for them. And a lot of times we don't think about that when we make decisions. We think about our now and what we need to do now instead of making decisions based on where we want to be, what we want to do. We get caught up in our circumstances and life happens, but it holds us back from even thinking forward into what can I do? What can I create to build to something that outlasts me, outlasts my children, and that can sustain my legacy and my name. If we look at some of the leaders and some of the artists and famous people, and you can see what they're building. Think about Bill Gates right now in his legacy, Microsoft. Microsoft been around for how many years? And that's a name that will be in households for many years to come and outlast us. So we are in position to create a legacy. God already said it. It's in the Bible. It's there for us. It's within our reach. We just have to make that leap, take that step, and create that legacy so that you're not passing down debt to your children. You're not asking for GoFundMe's to bury your family. You are in position, your family's in position, and God forbid if something happens to you, they're celebrating you because they know that you've looked after them. You've made sure you've left preparations for them so they don't have to struggle. So that's legacy.
But, I want to point out what the Bible says specifically, because the Bible specifically says a wise man. Now, do I have any wise men here tonight? if you're a wise man, and you know, in the Bible, man constitutes woman as well. If I have any wise men here tonight, go ahead and say, I'm wise, okay? And Felicia said, this is the 4th time hearing this today, confirmation. We're going to talk about those of you who need repeated confirmation in a minute. Amen. But if I have any wise men in the audience, just say wise man, because the Bible clearly says a wise man leaves an inheritance for its children's children. So if you're wise, in accordance to the word, you need to be thinking more corporate and building versus job and begging.
Oh, say that again, Coach.
You got to think corporate and building versus job and begging. Because every time you go to a job, see, just real quick, I'm not going to stay here long, but I just want to point out when we came to the promised land, the promise was that we would be able to eat off the fruit of the land, right? And we're able.
Right.
There's so many business opportunities out there right now that it's ridiculous. But you have to start in order to finish. You can't leave a legacy of procrastination. You can't leave a legacy with doubt. You can't leave a legacy with lack of action. You can't leave a legacy if you never start. A notebook full of ideas, ladies, is not a legacy. Unless you're Walt Disney. Amen.
Amen.
But even Walt Disney started. So some of you that need that repeated confirmation need a coach.
Yeah.
You waiting on burning bushes. You waiting on it to rain for 40 days and 40 nights. You waiting to be put in the fiery furnace. You just waiting on us, but that's not your story. That was Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That was not you. You waiting to find a coat of many colors. You just doing a lot. Good morning, Jewel. And instead of you saying, let me go find me somebody specifically to help me get started. And that's Narissa. Specifically to get you overwhelmed. But you can't even talk legacy if you don't have your feet right in the starting blocks, ready to run when they blow the gun. I don't know. And I'm going to tell you guys, sometimes God will send you signs so clear. If you're watching this video, how many more you need? You need Narissa to come knock on your door. You need the Lord to send the Archangel Gabriel. How many more jobs you going to have to get let go from? How many times you going to have to get laid off, fired? How many times you going to let them give you a 40 cents, not 40%? I said 40 cents. As in a quarter, a dime, and a nickel increase. How much longer are you going to rob Peter to pay Paul? I don't know. Narissa. So, Narissa, what do you think keeps people from getting started?
Coach, I think it's fear. It's fear of, sometimes they feel like, I need to know everything, or I'm not an expert. Or they may feel, I don't have what it takes. Fear, they don't have the belief in themselves. Or they may feel like, I need to know a lot of people. Or I need a lot of money in order to get started. So it's multiple different reasons that prevent people from getting started. Sometimes it's just just fear of itself, fear of the unknown, whether I will succeed, whether I fail, what will people think. There's so many reasons people don't take that leap and get started. And ultimately, the reasons why they need to get started are some of those things right there. Because that fear is holding them back, but that fear should propel you, because your current lifestyle and what you desire, there's a big gap. And you need to bridge that gap from where you are to where you want to be. So you have to think about, am I going to sit in my fears and wish I can be here? Or if I'm going to use that fear to propel me to leap, to bridge that gap to the lifestyle that I truly, truly desire and deserve. And that's the other thing. Some people don't feel they deserve to live that lifestyle, they don't feel they're worthy enough to have the success, to wake up in the morning and feel like, you know what, I can start my day. I can see my kids off. I can make breakfast. I can spend an hour in quiet time. Women get up sometimes and they're just going. They don't even have time to sit quiet and meditate and thank the Lord for this day. So it's just some of the little things, that, again, you have to bridge that gap between your fears and the desired lifestyle that you want. So
and the truth of the matter is, Narissa, they need your help to do that.
Right, exactly.
Because if they could do it by themselves, they would have done it already. It's an uncomfortable gap.
Definitely.
Knowing that you want more and not knowing how to get it, that's uncomfortable.
Absolutely. But which is more uncomfortable?
I need you to repeat. See, sometimes you got to repeat stuff for emphasis.
Which is more uncomfortable? Staying where you are, or moving, getting uncomfortable and taking that leap to where you want to be? You know what, Coach? I never forget this story that I heard about the dog. There was a dog in the backyard that used to always howl and howl, oh, and everybody's passed by this.
Who told you that story, girl?
I heard it a while ago. And they used to wonder, why this dog howling like that? So everybody used to pass and ask the guy, why is your dog howling like that? No, he's okay. Don't worry about him. When somebody actually stopped and said, you know what? I want to know what's going on. What's going on with that dog back there? And he said, you know what? He's just sitting on a nail. Now he's sitting on a nail, and all he really has to do is just get up.
Get up.
That's it. He's just sitting on a nail howling. And that's what some of us are doing, sitting in our discomfort, howling, wishing that we had an answer. And all we have to do is get up and take that leap to get started. The answer's right there.
My. I tell that story often to Narissa. And at the end, I tell them when they ask him, well, why doesn't he get up? The farmer says, when he's tired of hurting. When he's hurt bad enough. See, some of us, we ain't tired of hurting yet. Because we can still pay the bills. We might be squeaking by, but we still can. We might have only a little left over. Somehow, some way, women have to hit the ground hard.
Right.
In order to understand that they've got to get off the nail. For women, sometimes it takes us losing a loved one. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah.
For women, sometimes it takes us losing a job, or our husbands losing a job. For women, sometimes we got to go all the way to the bottom, the shelter and sleeping in our car, to understand we could have been did this. And you can do it now, bit.ly/bizbreak21. Schedule your call.
Yes.
Because you need a plan, you need a roadmap. All the things that Narissa listed are things that a coach will help you with. Understanding your worth, understanding your value. If you don't understand them now, you're not going to just start understanding them tomorrow.
Right.
You need a roadmap. You need instruction. You need somebody to hold your hand and tell you it's going to be okay. I want to get to the end result because I want to show them how to reverse engineer their fear. Whatever you're afraid of, I want you to think, Is it worse than being homeless? Is it worse than not having money for my kids to eat? Is it worth us not having transportation? Sometimes you got to reprioritize your fear. See, you just can't sit and be afraid of everything. So you got to say to yourself, of all the things that I'm most afraid of, see, of all the things I was most afraid of, it was my inability to take care of my family. I was afraid I couldn't retire my mother. I was afraid I wouldn't have the money to send my children to school. And so those are the things that powered me. When I thought I was afraid, I would say to yourself, girl, you ain't seen nothing yet. What you going to be looking like if you can't bring your mama off that job?
Right.
And that would be the power I needed to get up and do what I needed to do. Some of y'all are just giving lip service to tired. Some of y'all are just in competition with your girlfriends about who's the most tired. Girl, I was tired, girl. Now you ain't more tired than me. Girl, I'm tired of my kids, girl. Now you ain't more tired than me. Girl, I'm tired of my man, girl. Now you ain't more tired than me, girl. I'm tired of my job. Tired of my job. No, girl, you ain't no more tired than me. But when it's time to make this call, bit.ly/bizbreak21, I'm going to see who really schedules a call. I'm going to see who's really tired, because some of y'all are just talking to be talking. What you think, Narissa?
Drop mic. Some people just talking.
Yeah, because when there's an opportunity for you to do something about it, for you to get started, there's a Chinese philosopher that said the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. That one step is making that call. That one step is discussing with Narissa what are the possibilities. That one step.
Mm-hmm.
But for those of you who are afraid of that one step, let me leave you with something. Let's talk about what happens if you don't take that step. Okay? Many people give up trying to figure it out by themselves. That's what happens when you don't take that one step and get you some help. You want to be on Google and YouTube, and you want to go to Google University, and YouTube is your daddy, and you think that you're going to get all these answers, and you get frustrated and you give up. There's so many people. There's so many people who have given up. But it's because they chose not to take that one step.
Right.
Even more entrepreneurs fail. They first year, second year, and by the third year, almost 75% of them are no longer around. Why? Because if you didn't learn how to walk yourself, and if you didn't learn how to talk yourself, how in the Sam Hill do you think you're going to learn how to run a whole business without wise counsel? But the Bible's clear. My people perish for lack of counsel. The Bible's crystal clear. This is one of those things that you can't afford to do by yourself. So some people give up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they get frustrated. Some even more, they try their best and they fail. And what both those groups have in common is that they don't have a roadmap. They don't have an instructor. They don't have somebody to follow. And your one step should start with Narissa. bit.ly/bizbreak21. I don't know what else to tell them.
I don't know either, Coach. That's it. We said it. You got to take that leap, take that first step out of your comfort zone. And it's hard. I get it. Sometimes it's hard to just accept and acknowledge that this is where you are and that I need help. But that's the time when you really need to reach out and say, you know what? I need to change. Something has to change, because you're not going to sit in the same cycle month after month, week after week, year after year, wishing that something will be different. That's insanity. So it's time for you to get your sanity back and take that first step, make a call, book the call, and let's get you on the right path to starting your business the right way and start putting things in place so that you can start creating the life that you ultimately desire and deserve, because it all boils down to wanting more impact, independence, and income. So start with that call.
All right. And Vicky said earlier, choose your heart.
Right, Vicky?
We can't be saying everything is hard. We've got to sit back and say, which of these situations are we going to allow to dominate our life? Are we going to allow fear to dominate our lives, or are we going to allow challenge and greatness and our next level to dominate our lives? And it truly is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It truly is a choice. I will tell you this. I was talking to my mentorship last night and I said, can y'all believe it's already so much of the year has passed?
Yes.
Let me show you how the year runs. When you look up and you're making resolutions, you look up and you're hunting Easter eggs, you look up and the leaves are turning brown, you look up and trick-or-treaters at your door, you look up and you're wrapping Christmas gifts, and you look up and the ball is dropping again. And that business that you said you was going to start year before last is still sitting on the shelf. And that those ideas that you said were going to birth 5 years ago are still in a notebook somewhere. And time is slipping away from you.
Yeah.
Like sand through the hourglass. So are the days of our lives. And that's exactly how that time runs away from you. And you're 20, then you're 30, then you're 40. I thank God I started when I was 40. I don't know what I would do. 10 years. 10 years this took me to get here. Get started.
Yes.
Get started. bit.ly/bizbreak21. Don't let anything keep you from making that call. Don't let anything keep you from getting started. Tell me you waiting on them, Narissa.
I'm waiting on you. Drop a comment if you're ready to get started. Get started in the box, and make sure you click on that link and schedule a call. I look forward to supporting you in your new business and in your new life.
Absolutely. Love you guys. Have a great evening.